Hi everyone, I am live and I'm probably going to be doing all of your alternative healing Thursdays live from here on out because my schedule has changed, so I do not have time um, to record and then to edit and then to post. So live it is. Last week I talked about Feng Shuiing and your entrance, and Liz, I will address your front entrance at the end of this. And if anyone else wants any type of help with their front entrance or has any type of Feng Shui questions, please let me know. I am here to help as much as I can. So what I really wanted to talk about today was some generalizations within your home. So some really simple Feng Shui rules and concepts I'd like to talk about. So really, your environment creates your future. I've been listening to, it's not You Are the Placebo, it's the new one by Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, I believe it's called. And within it's really about how we get caught up in this routine, right? Every single day we have this same routine where, we basically start to predict the future according to what we have experienced in the past, right? And so that tends to create, like, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you're worried about being late, you have to get the dogs ready for me, and then you get off to work, and you already know that work, is that your association with work is being miserable or being unhappy, right? So you start to create the same of that because of what you have experienced. The same thing applies to your home if you do not update it and change it according to your desires, right? So you might have, for example, say you bought a house 10 years ago and you decorated it 10 years ago. That same decor and all the stuff that you have kept for 10 years within your home may not align with where you want to go now in the future, right? Think about it. Right now, I'm working for a family that has 4 children. So I do nanny as a day job, and I'm actually starting to help them out within their house. And their pantry, to say the least, is just all of their pantries, all of their drawers, just everything is absolute chaos. And yes, is it hard to manage a household with 4 children? Absolutely. But at the same time, with that said, they're just creating a whole bunch of chaos and wasted space, and like they're exerting too much energy, like more energy than what they actually have to do. Like I went through their whole pantry and I threw out probably 5 or 6 trash bags full of just expired food, right? Just because their system was off. So now, like when you think about that, you go to grab some food and you're feeling frustrated because you can't find anything, right? Or, they had a lot of replicas. Like they had, I think 6 or 7 granite cleaners, and they have 5 or 7 huge tubes of dishwashing detergent, and they could just keep buying it. So like not only is it wasting money, but it's wasting energy, and you just create more of that if you do not organize. So that brings me to clutter, right? Clutter is different than a temporarily messy situation. By that, I mean like if you didn't get your laundry done for 1 week, or if you can't do the dishes every single night, that becomes a temporary mess, or you have an emergency and, just shit goes a little bit haywire, but everything should ideally still have its place and its purpose, and it's just a mess. When we talk about clutter, it's the things that you no longer use, the things that are no longer necessary, the things that your dogs don't play with anymore, things that are broken, things that your children don't use or pay attention to or wouldn't miss if they were gone. Like a lot of people have way too many toys for their children. And the thing is, they don't even play with the old ones. That's why they have like this new thing within the last generation where they do stuff like swapping out their toys, right? So say for like 3 months, they might, put away the toys that they were playing with and then take back and like, cause they had stuff in their basement or something like that stored away. So they just switch out the toys. So the kids constantly believe that they're playing with a new set of toys in there and their room looks different. So it's more exciting, right? Because their environment changed. Doesn't mean that the parents spent any more money on toys. It's just things are changed. So, the energy is elevated. There's more excitement there. This is what I'm getting at with all of this is, get rid of stuff that you're not using. Not only are you going to create more space in your life, but you're going to create more room for new opportunities to come in. So we had talked about decluttering your digital clutter very recently, but before, I think when I started this Facebook, I had a decluttering challenge, and I try and go through, if I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm getting frustrated now again because my routine is changing, which means I need less stuff that I need to deal with, right? You kind of get to a point where you just are like, screw this, like I'm freaking done. I'm just done. So I'm getting to that point. I have too many events going on. I'm working a lot more hours than I was before. So with that said, now is the time to get mad and start throwing shit out. I don't really have too many clothes, really. So with that said, like if you already went through your wardrobe and your clothes, start with things like, books and papers and your pantry, right? Anything that's in your kitchen, where are the junk drawers? Where do you feel the most frustration in your house? Because we just have these energetic ties to everything. So if in your house that there's an area that is frustrating you, such as like a junk drawer or your desk or your office, there's this energetic cord to that is adding a negative vibration in your auric field because you have an attachment to it. So the best thing to do is to get rid of it, get rid of the clutter. What else did I want to mention? Oh, shared spaces is hard. There's only so much you can do about someone else's stuff, like especially if you have children or if you have a roommate or say your husband is a hoarder or your wife is a hoarder. All you can really do is be the shining light and declutter your stuff, and hopefully it will inspire them or help them organize it in such a fashion that it's not ruining either one of your lives. There's nothing that drives me crazier than if someone has something such as like, I was in my aunt's house one time and we were decluttering her house, and her husband got this like beautiful Persian type of tapestry from, I believe, Germany or something like that when he was in one of the wars. And he bought it, and it was sitting in their closet for probably 15 plus years. And it's like, that's something special. Like, put it out, like help him, find a spot for it. And anything that has meaning to you that's just sitting stashed away is just, my grandmother would say that's a sin, right? It's a sin. You need to put things that mean a lot to you and to your, whoever shares the space with you into a place of honor. So with this said, you might find some stuff when you're going through your house and decluttering. And other things about shared spaces. So yes, it is hard to have a shared space and be completely organized, but you do the best that you can. And especially with small spaces, try and give them just certain areas where they can put their stuff. But, just make it work for everyone as best as possible. If their stuff is starting to impede on other areas or parts of the room that, that everyone sees, there's like a common space, they need to figure out where to put that within their own space. Okay, so at least set up those boundaries. Let's see, what else do I have for notes? Routines, right? So when I started this, we were talking about how really your routine starts to create your future, but also routines can make your life easier as well, right? So coming up with a set routine, maybe it's you have a hard time with, what to do for dinner, or your laundry never gets done, or, you want to work out, but you can't find time for it. Try and aim to have a routine. And this is, I know this doesn't seem like it has anything to do with Feng Shui, but Feng Shui really is applicable to both your house and your soul and your body as well. So that's one thing that's really going to help you out. When you get on a routine and everything is done, you end up finding more time for things. You can start to spend more time getting rid of stuff in your house, changing around stuff in your house, and spending time meditating to like really visualize that future that you want. But that's a huge thing in your house. If your house isn't aligned with where you want to go, it's one extra thing that's going to be in your way, right? You really can't have, your house is almost like you can use it as a manifestation, right? You don't have to go and spend millions of dollars to redecorate your house or repaint anything. But when you start to add items in with intention, like say you want to have a lot more money, think about right now, what would your house look like if you had a lot more money, right? Sometimes that just means getting more like velvety type materials or getting a really nice robe for yourself. What in that future that you have, where you have a lot more money, what does your house look like? What do you look like? Say you want to attract in a romantic partner. If you don't have space for them to come in, then they're probably never going to come in because you're not making room for them, right? Start to think about those things and start looking around your house and getting rid of what isn't aligned with that, but also what can you add in too. But the first step is always to remove. What else do I want to mention? Furniture placement. So we're actually going to move into Feng Shui a little bit now, like actual laws, I guess you would call them. So furniture placement. What I mean by furniture placement is desks and beds right now. For right now, we're going to be talking about desks and beds. So how can I explain this with just my words? Say you open up your door to the room, right? Directly across from the doorway is usually a wall, right? If your desk or your bed is in direct line with the door, like you open the door and it's in direct line with the doorway, that's going to create something called rushing chi, right? The chi just rushes and just, it basically just blows itself right onto the object that is in its way. So what does that do? That creates anxiety, that creates a lack of sleep, that creates a lack of focus, and you might not even realize it. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So with a desk too. So yes, you do not want to be in direct alignment with the door, but you do want to be facing the door. Same thing with the bed. So both. You don't want to be in direct line, but you want to be facing the door so that if someone walked in the door, you'd be able to see them immediately. That puts you in a place of authority as opposed to a place of just less dominance, like someone who is lesser. Because think about it. If I had my back turned, right, and you walked in on me, you would see me before I saw you. And in Feng Shui, that means that you would be the dominant person. So you always want to be seeing the entrance from your desk and from your bed, but not being in line with the door. So what can you do if that is not the case? Or a lot of people tend to have those desks that have like the backing, or like for example, my bedroom is actually not, my bedroom's way too small for our bed, unfortunately, and we have 2 dog beds. We live in a really old house, and that's totally fine, because a lot of the times, like, you're not going to be able to succeed in all of these laws. So there are little cures that you can actually do, or fixes, to help you out with the situation. So in both situations, the best case scenario, you would want to place a mirror. Nothing like, I would have to see your bedroom to tell you where to place the mirror, because you don't want a mirror also facing the bed or directly across from the bed, because that actually will either add in an entity into the room or into your life. That's what I was taught. So weird information, but or it can also add in a third party, meaning you might be having like an emotional affair, right? Something that can do that, from what I was taught. So I don't know why that is, but that's what I was taught. So anyways, what I was getting to is you can place a mirror so that you can look into it while sitting on the bed or while being at your desk, and the mirror should reflect the entrance. So you can still see that person who's walking into the room first, right? Because you'd be able to just glance at the mirror and see them. So that would be the fix for that. So that's the most, dominant positions. And a couple of other things. If you look around your house and there's too much consistency, and I'm seeing this a lot in this modern decorative time, where everything tends to be very monotoned or the same couple of colors. The last house that I worked in when I nannied at this house, it was all like an off-white color and creams, and that was literally the whole freaking house. And that would represent the metal element. Now, I also have metal and earth dominant personality. So by me already having that type of personality and then working in that house, that was too much metal element. So I actually wasn't able to focus. I really had a lot of anxiety in the house, and like, it was just too much for me. It was way too much for me. So I think that this would be a really good topic to talk about within the next couple of weeks, about the elemental personalities, but also how the elements appear in the home, and knowing how to create a balance. Because if you have too much of one element, that really tends to be a problem. Why that is because there's a constructive and a destructive cycle within the 5 elements in Chinese herbal medicine, in Feng Shui, and in Qigong, right? They're all kind of the same thing, and they all work with the 5 elements. So if you, in your home, have a lot of the same couple of elements, it might send you or your spouse totally freaking crazy. I got a YouTube comment because I had a workshop on this, and the woman said that she was a metal dominant person and her husband was a fire dominant person. And what's funny about that is that fire melts metal, right? That's how people, welding, So he wanted to decorate the house a certain way, and she always felt like super drained or like very, she just didn't like his type of decorations because he wanted to add more fire elements into the house, and obviously, it was affecting her. So it's like, this shit's crazy. So I think that if anyone who is watching this, I think that it would be a good idea to start to talk about the elements within the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, because that's a whole different that we're talking about. But definitely, I know Liz and Nellie are watching here live, so thank you guys for showing up live here. I did want to talk about Liz's front entrance, and Nellie, if you have any questions, I will gladly help. But definitely let me know if you want to learn more about the elements. They're really, really fun and they're really cool. And you'll start to see your house very differently, which is interesting. Liz, I'm just going to pull up your front entrance on my phone quickly. I did take some notes on it though. Let's see. Here I am live. Okay, so I have your front door. Hi, Liz. I have your front door pulled up in a picture. So this is a very metal and earth dominant entrance, okay? So what I would really suggest doing, because it's very, it's consistently the same colors, and I'm assuming that this is an apartment. You're in an apartment building, from what I can see. So consistently metal and earth, because you're seeing the wrought iron, the white, that's metal, that lighter, or like that tan color, and that green is also earth. And then you guys have, okay, it is a condo, a lot of plants around there. So just from my, one of the first things I would say is that your house, your entrance blends right in with the rest, right? So you really want to make it stand out a lot more so that you can get some chi flow into your house. What I would do here is add a lot more fire elements. So I'm not sure if you're allowed to hang anything or if you could use some of those command strips are outside, but string lights, or like those like little fairy lights with a very not white lights, but like that warm, it's almost like an orangey glow. So like not Christmas lights, but more so like the fairy type of lights. That would be awesome to hang up, either just around like the border of where you would enter, or I'm not sure if those are columns or they're just half circles, which is actually another metal element. And you have a square again, beautiful, very beautiful, but again, very metal and earth. So if you can add any type of string lights, that would be the first thing I would do. Fire elements are also represented again by fire. You could put lanterns out there, solar lanterns. Yeah, they are columns, okay. Solar lanterns with just even like that fake light. That would be super helpful. Again, warm. You don't want that white light. Definitely add some more decorations in the colors of red and pink. You have enough of the earth tones. If you, I really would add more fire elements, because I was going to say you could add some water elements in there, which would be darker blues or darker purples, but I think to really grab attention, you're going to want to go with the fire element here. So string lights, some type of, you can either get a really, really bright and beautiful welcome mat and like a really red and cheery, especially since winter is coming up. They have like those stick wreaths with I forget, is it holly? It's almost like the holly berries on it. Something like a lot of bright reds. So a mat, a wreath would be awesome. String light. You could also add your names. I don't know if it's just you who lives there or if it's you and someone else, to make it more personalized. You know, you could put the Fitzgeralds or whatever you want, perhaps like above that window, but that's what I would suggest so far. But I'm really feeling the string lights. If you want, I can put in a link to what I'm talking about, but I think that or like a couple of lanterns or anything to add more like warm, fiery light would be absolutely beautiful. And again, you can go with a welcome mat, or because like that entrance is so big, you could go with some type of red outdoor rug. You could do that too. So that's about what I have to say for that. You guys will have to let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, I will put I'll put a post in, or I'll put a comment in. But that's what I have so far. For this next lesson, I did talk almost 30 minutes about some generalized stuff, but you'll have to let me know if you're interested in the elements. I would love to teach you guys more about that, and correlating to your personality and your home. If anyone has any other questions, please put them in the comments and I would love to help you out. But thank you so much for showing up, and I hope that this video has helped you. Tomorrow night, I'm actually going live on my business page for the end of month ceremony. So what I do in that is I do a energy clearing for everyone, an energy rejuvenation. Tomorrow night I am going to do a fire ceremony again. So anything you want to let go of and to release, I'll write that down for you, and then I burn it in my little cauldron thing. And then we'll just, you know, kind of, I would really like to bless our intentions for the month of October. So come and join me live tomorrow night on my business page. I will put a link in for that at 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon.